Same with one with you and I for a purpose. I need to figure out what that is.
You said that you no longer you're no longer on X. You don't have an X account anymore.
No, I'm no longer. I'm not on X anymore. I got up with my X account
Why you don't have an X account anymore?
because when you go on X, everything that it seems as though the algorithm is only catered to pushing. It's not fair and balanced. There's a lot of things that come into my feed are all things that are not true, falsehood, things that just it seems as if they're disconnect from reality, and it's not really positive. It's a lot of hate, vitriol, lies. And it's I'm fair and balanced, and I want to hear both sides.
Well, as it relates to the algorithm, I'm noticing that I've been on Twitter for a very long time. In fact, I'm a verified customer of Twitter, but I oftentimes complain about the algorithm, and then that is why so many Americans are flocking to TikTok, and that's why many people have a problem with TikTok because the algorithms on places like Facebook and the algorithms on Twitter, um, they are they don't facilitate free speech as much as they talk about free speech, but if they talk against a particular person that Elon or what's the other guy that on Facebook, whatever his name is, if they promote those people that are acceptable, then the algorithm is set against you. In a sense.
Now we have again, now we have so I don't expect my
First of
news
all, yeah, the
to be fair and balanced. If you want fair and balanced news, why are you going to be? Which is why I'm very upset
I
with
don't
our.
believe that somebody who is very involved in government or politicians should have control over the Twitter, social media. Yes, I don't know. Then not only that government efficiency, is not government efficiency, but conflict of interest because himself he's a part of the private sector where somebody in the private sector head of government efficiency, which is interesting. Uh, and that, but at the same time, he runs Twitter.
Which is true. They have allowed the social media and the ad companies to who are influence or influence can influence elections, can influence decision making, can influence policy by misleading people, and you cannot have a platform like this. This is why people used to have to do like CNN or Fox, MSNBC, which are fair and balanced because you think that you could go our New York Times, because you think you could go to these places and they'll give you the raw news, whether it's what on both sides, so you could see what's going on, so people could make a constructive opinion or based on the information that they're getting. And right now, we are far removed from that. So I made an effort to not be on X because even though I used to love being on there, I used to consume a lot of my time. I've realized that a lot of information that was coming through were not fair and balanced. And if you're not as intelligent as some of us, it's like you become ill-informed because you're being constantly fed with misleading information that then your mind is going to start turning towards it. And now you don't know what is true, what's not true, because all you're being fed is things that are far removed from truth.
Well, I'm still on X, so I mean, you have some, yeah, I mean, so probably.
Well, why is that? You are.
And not only that, I'm a thermostat, so I can choose to be a thermometer or I can be part of those who contribute. Sometimes they have algorithms. I mean, I'm oftentimes at a game, so if I have one person that's following me on 5 or 10, that's enough because I believe in the law of multiplication of each one reach one. And I'm a think tank. I'm about facilitating government. But another thing I want to talk to you about is I want to ask you about what's going on with Democrats. You called me to say earlier, you called me earlier to say that the Democrats are what's going on with Democrats and the marching against immigration. What's going on? You said that you said you
the smartest person in the room. They are so intelligent, but I think they're too intelligent for their own good. They're too intelligent for a fall, to a fault, because they don't understand what's going on in society, and that's why they lost the election. They lost the House, they lost the Congress, and they're losing touch with the American people because they don't understand what's going on. I'm watching the news and I'm seeing we have representative on the Democratic side saying that they're organizing a march. They're not going to cooperate with the ICE agent. They're not going to cooperate with Donald Trump and his immigration policies, and they're orchestrating marches because of what's going on. And the American people overwhelmingly vote. If you talk to Democrats and Republicans and independents alike, everybody will tell you that they do believe that there's an immigration crisis in this country. They do believe that needs to be fixed, and the best person to fix it was the Republican Party, not so Donald Trump, but the Republican Party. And to be honest, a lot of people think that what they're doing is great. And while we have Democrats coming out marching, not supporting, I said, you're fighting a losing battle. I speak with teachers in certain districts. I won't call their names. Great, close friend of mine is a teacher. Two of them are teachers. Another one is a tech personnel in the school district in New Jersey, and they will tell you that your schools are overran by immigrants. In fact, some of them are not even legal. They don't even. The teachers are frustrated because most of the students in their class don't even speak English. No disrespect, but they don't. And so it's like you have maybe 2 Americans in the class, and the rest of them in there are not even. They're all not American. And so they secretly are saying to me, you know, to be honest with you, I do like his policy because I can't deal with this. We're losing the classroom. We're losing teachers because they don't like this. Okay? So what I believe the Democrats need to be doing, instead of coming out and speaking against Donald Trump or the Republican Party immigration policy, is probably what they need to do is recognize that there are some good, because the people of America support it. There are some good to the immigration policy and the ICE strategy. Maybe what they need to do is say, there's some good. Donald Trump, we want to work with you. We don't like the fact that you're scooping up American citizens. We don't like the fact that there are some people who are residents of this country who are getting caught up in all of this. What we want to do is we want to maybe work together to even improve it, to make it better, make it a little bit more structured, okay? So that the American people recognize.
Wait, hold on. You're saying that, so fine, you're saying that ICE agents are going around scooping up everybody in one big net, and they don't care who they're scooping up. They're also scooping up citizens and residents as well.
I'm a citizen of this country. I don't want to be scooped up by ICE agents. It's very degrading. So now we're going to have to make it a little bit more structure. So now we have Democrats in Democratic cities, and because he's going to Democratic cities, because a lot of the cities is where they are, we need to now work with ICE agents and work together to see how we could do it in a structured way so that we are continue being effective, all right, and steer people to say, hey, you have to, you know, listen.
According to Donald Trump or his administration, the immigration issue has reached a proportion that has risen to the level of a statewide emergency, a national emergency. So because it's a national emergency, then it means that they'll have to do things that many Americans will feel uncomfortable. It means that they also, in order that they'll have to scoop, they're going to also they may pick up people who are legally supposed to be here, but they have to have if they're allowed to provide due diligence. I don't know, just police can go on the street and say, let me get you an ID. Then the ICE agents have the ability to stop people, ask for an ID, and then they can check to see if they get it to see if it comes up. Can we do that? Can a person's ID? Can people use their ID?
Well, yes, which is why I believe that they need to work together. They have to figure out a way how to do it in a structured way. Because I always believe that people should be in the system, so you know who is legal, who is a criminal, who is not. But it should be done in a respectful way and a respectful manner, not degrading people. You don't want. This is all done in the name of American citizens. We want to make America great again. You want your people and your citizens to feel safe to be on the road, on the streets, and not feel as though that they are part of this craziness. So there has to be a way.
You are Democrats. You're saying you support Donald Trump's immigration reforms.
Yes, I do.
and you do not support the Democratic Party stance or their march or the march that they're organizing.
I mean, I understand that they do get some type of social benefits, and some of people, citizens in this country, don't want them to get all of it because people are working hard. But I don't support. I think they should just leave it alone. What I don't support is the tariffs against our trade partners like Canada. Oh, Canada is like it's another America for crying out loud.
Well, first of all,
they need to say, listen, we need to, what they should be focusing on is the citizen of this country and putting and lowering inflation and make sure people families can put food on their table, and attacking Canada is not the way to do it and putting tariffs on it. What they should have done is, yeah, if you want to put tariffs on countries, you first meet them at the table. You're not a bully. Bully never works.
by the way, may I make a point as we talk about the issue of inflation?
Yeah.
Part of Donald Trump's campaign strategy was was inflation. Was to talk about how under Biden and Kamala, food prices have skyrocketed. Okay, and and now we're hearing that Donald Trump wants to implement policies or has implemented a policy that may even further exacerbate um, the inflation crisis.
Yes.
But
Also, some people will suffer.
and he even said that it's going to be hard for Americans.
You can't do not do that. That is
But
wrong.
this is a shock therapy. He is trying to uh, get rid of government spending. It's going to affect millions of Americans. While at the same time, he's slapping tariffs on goods and services, which is going to affect millions of Americans. Again, it's going to especially um, cities like low income families, especially in black and brown communities, where and many of their goods and their services come from places like China or some of these other places, Mexico, whatever. The goods, their services, the family dollars, and so on. I went to Family Dollar yesterday, to Dollar Tree, and I did it for yesterday. And I said, "What's going on? Where are the goods? There's nothing." And they put the sign at the front. They're sorry, we have a few products. And I'm saying to you, the dollar store, we won't have any dollar store anymore in America as well.
With you, um, anything made in China, I don't support. I don't buy because
Well, yeah, but a lot of the goods that
stores are in black and brown community.
correct
They're just
or low income community.
I don't care about putting a tariff on China, but you don't put a tariff on Mexico and you don't put a tariff on Canada. And guess what? Yes, there are some China has figured out how to circumvent the rules by moving their factories and stuff into Mexico and into some of these countries that
Yes,
like
yes. I believe part of the problem. Yes, I believe that um, first of all, Bill Clinton created the NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement with Mexico and Canada, which affected um, Caribbean countries. The banana agreement the preferential treat the preferential agreement that Caribbean countries had with the UK or the EU. Okay, so that the Mexico's banana can become the dominant. We know that. When Donald Trump became president in 2016, during his presidency, he pulled out of NAFTA because he believed that America wasn't getting the benefits of it, reauthorized it, and then went back into it. Now he is slapping a tariff. That is which is I believe is a violation of the agreement. But I believe Canada and Mexico is also violating the agreement because they are allowing a rival economic power that is China. They're making agreements with China, and China is using the agreement, the NAFTA agreement between the US, Canada, and Mexico, using that agreement to push their goods into the US and other parts of the world, benefiting from NAFTA like tariffs and so on. So yeah,
have this is why we are nation states and we work together. When you have a company or an organization, you have to do networking and it's a trade partner, you don't just go ahead and just slap and have people, I'm going to do this. You connect with them and say, listen, what is happening? We need to fix this, we need to change that, we need to do this. You don't just come out and do this to shock the system. First of all, not everything. Lumber is not made in China. Lumber comes from Canada and you can't, we need the lumber, okay, for housing. So that's not from China. So why are you, some of the tariffs you're putting on are all good. You need to really look at it, see what are the goods you need to put tariffs on everything. Why are you putting stuff on lumber? Huh? We need the lumber from Canada. All right. So those are some of the tariffs that he's putting on lumber. Some other stuff that actually come directly from China from all the makers that we need from Canada and Mexico, which we benefit from, and it's really not from China. So you have to be systematic. You have to be smart when you make these changes. You have to sit at the table and discuss it. You don't do this and then sit at the table with them and shock the system.
Well, unless
Right?
unless he's doing it, well, according to him, he's applying pressure on these governments to help to stop the flow of illegal or illicit drugs. At the same time, America, Haiti is accusing Haiti is accusing Haiti is accusing the U.S. of pushing guns into Haiti. Mexico, Canada, right? That's so. Right. So in a sense, it's in a sense. So I'm not understanding. So these other countries are accusing the U.S. of and that's too many countries are saying it's so easy to get guns in the U.S. And in a sense, then right. So that's part of the problem. Or it's easy to go into the store and buy shipments of guns and send them overseas. That's because of the people in their countries are taking advantage of easy how the access, gun access in the US, so it's not necessarily that the US should. But anyway, whatever the case is, that's part of the problem. But as you said, yeah, they need to come sit at the table. If we have a North America NAFTA agreement, we should be able to sit at the table to work out some of this. But Donald Trump probably worked backwards. His strategy is backward. And I believe that it's a smoke street, but I believe it's a street. I think that there are other issues at play. I believe that there are other and then I believe that but at the same time, I believe maybe he's gonna he's there has to be a focus on developing American industries. Say, for example, American crude oil, because I understand that although we have a lot of oil here, we still import a lot of oil overseas. President Trump is now going to try probably, and are we going to be producing more oil here in the U.S.? Are we,
Before 2000, we used to produce somewhat like 6 million or 60 million with an 60 minutes yesterday. It's now dropped to like two. It wasn't until Barack Obama it started going up, and then because it was going up, and then after COVID it dropped, and it went. And that's what's happening. It dropped a little bit, but our production and manufacturing industry dropped significantly since 2006, and when it became a service
but I
industry.
understand that
And
I heard we have one of the highest reserves in terms of oil reserves in the world, but yet still we are not the number. But we don't export oil. So I understand. Yeah, so and that is and then of course there has not been a lot of with the Obama administration. Wait, Obama administration and the Biden administration. I guess the focus is probably on alternative energy. But now that Trump is in power, the focus is now is to go back um, to drilling and to increasing American oil outputs and have America depend on American oil. So probably that is part of the thinking. Um, yes.
we should really move on. You know, or be the beautiful country. I don't have to do it. But when society started trading or society changed significantly, when you're a historian, right? Because the barter system, like what we used to do, we realized that we don't have to do everything. We realized that we used to trade what our goods or what we do better than other countries for something else. We would give you a gold and you will give me a corn, or I'll give you this if you build my house. That's what society used to be. That's how partnership work together. So what you're trying to tell me is that America don't want to engage in this barter system, which is differently now based on the trading of goods and services and globalization. Of course, we have to do it. It's important. It's necessary. So if you don't have to do crude oil, someone could do better. But yes, there needs to be a balance of the system. But the thing is, you can't shock the system. You have to be diplomatic the way you operate. So who much America is diplomatic? We are the strongest nation, and so when we don't want to be laughed and we don't want to take advantage of us, but it has to be done in a diplomatic and a professional way. And that's one of the things.
I don't know. I think I've never about the system, currency, and or money drives, or a kind of currency. Money drives everything. So the barter system, it's about what.
Right.
But whatever that, I mean, people are looking at value for money now, or whatever, or profit. Whatever. We're talking to Ricardo. I was just talking to my twin brother, Ricardo McKenzie, about about one, the his decision to to part ways with Twitter. He's no longer on Twitter. He's saying, and two, he's upset or disgusted with the Democrats. Himself a Democrat or a registered Democrat, but he's upset with the Democrats because he said that they are too aggressive about something that most Americans support. Most Americans support Donald Trump immigration reform, as much as he believes that what the Democrats should be doing is working with Donald Trump um, to ensure that the immigration reform is done in a very humane way. So that's interesting. And many there are many people who support him, and I'm one of those who agree with him. I agree that many persons are concerned with immigration in this country, um, and many. So that's not something that the Democrats are going to win on. If anything, they will lose if they go ahead with this march. This is the Neoliberal podcast. Please visit us at theneoliberal.com or renaldocmckenzie.com. Subscribe to the podcast on any stream. You can find your stream by going to anchor.fm/the neoliberal. You can donate to the podcast by going to anchor.fm/the neoliberal/support. We're also on YouTube at Renaldo McKenzie. Visit our store page where you can go and purchase some of our books, and you can also access our other services. Store.theneoliberal.com. We are a think tank, a publishing company, digital news media company that provide web hosting services, web design services, content services, writing and editing services, research and education services. And we are also going to grow our e-commerce, grow our branding, so that now we provide um, the Neoliberal shirts, the Neoliberal the Neoliberal mugs and cups and so on. We'll be having some book signings and lecture and events coming up. And just remember, the Caribbean Thought lecture series is back on right here on the Neoliberal Realm podcast. Please subscribe, share the show with your friends, and let us know how we can improve. We're all about serving the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges by making popular what was the monopoly. Please invest in us.